From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. People who live on the streets in Belleville, Ontario, and those who work to help them say more needs to be done to address the housing and addiction crisis in that city.
Belleville has been in the spotlight ever since a spat of illicit drug overdoses this month prompted the mayor and city council to declare a state of emergency and seek funding from the province for more services, including a detox center. John Green has been homeless for 9 winters and says people like him urgently need stable shelter. He says he lost his home after divorce and a devastating back injury, and he worries about people who huddle outside a downtown Belleville church every day. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
The RCMP says a growing trend of violent extremism in Canada and the increase of youth involvement is triggering alarms. The concern is not only related to the threat of terrorism, it says, but also in the broader area of grievance-based violence. The National Police Service is encouraging adults in positions of authority, like parents, teachers, and coaches, to be extra vigilant in observing anything that may be of concern, especially given the abundance of online platforms. New Brunswick's Liberal leader is calling on the Progressive Conservative government there to expand testing of Strep A sites. Susan Holt wants the province's health department to work with pharmacists, University of New Brunswick researchers, and others to expand a pilot program that currently provides Strep A testing at 6 locations. The seasonal illness has had a significant impact in New Brunswick this winter, including double the national fatality rate. Ottawa released some planned changes to its clean energy regulations on Friday, but Alberta's Environment Minister says that is not going to change her opposition to them. The proposed changes would alter provisions that industry and some provinces had objected to in the original version. However, Minister Rebecca Schultz maintains the updates would still put Alberta's grid at unacceptable risk. Both Alberta and Saskatchewan have said their grids cannot achieve net zero by 2030 without hurting reliability and costing a fortune. And finally, turning our eyes south of the border, there was a vigil held in California last night to remember Alexei Navalny. Dozens came out to mourn and grieve together, calling the former lawyer and opponent of Russian President Vladimir Putin their last hope for democracy in Russia. Flowers, photos, and posters filled a makeshift memorial in Beverly Hills. Now, for Evgeny Parpalista, Navalny represented hope that his homeland would one day be rid of tyranny, and he believes his death will rally supporters to rise up.
Putin is a killer. Today, Putin make big mistake.
The 47-year-old Navalny died Friday in an Arctic penal colony where he was serving a 19-year sentence. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Kristen Campbell made 30 saves in front of a women's hockey record crowd of 19,285 fans at Scotiabank Arena to help Toronto beat Montreal 3-0 in the Professional Women's Hockey League. Coined as the Battle on Bay Street, the game broke the attendance record of 18,013, which was set back in 2013 at the World Championships in Ottawa for a preliminary round game between Canada and Finland. And Team Canada skip Carrie Anderson opened her bid for a record 5th straight Canadian Women's Curling Championship with an 8-2 victory over Quebec's Laurie Saint-Georges, but minus lead Brianne Harris, whose absence went unexplained. Neither Anderson nor Curling Canada would explain why Harris was abruptly deemed ineligible to compete at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Calgary just hours before the opening draw. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.